Steelers walk away with a very tight win over the Washington Commanders, 28-27. When you look at Russell Wilson on the day, you had a lot of questions. Can he be the same Russell Wilson he once was with the Seattle Seahawks? You have a lot of naysayers around the Steelers because, quote unquote, they haven't faced a real team. They haven't faced a team with a winning record, and they have not went out there and went against real competition. Well, on the back end of the schedule, they're going to. And this was the first team to go against that, quote unquote, gauntlet, because next week you have the Baltimore Ravens, then you face the Bengals, you have the Cleveland Browns. You can't help who you play. But I'm happy that both of these teams finally got to face top-tier competition, so the national media can shut the hell up about it. The Steelers went out there against a team with 7 wins. They did not play perfect on the day, but they still won. And it answered a lot of questions. How will this offense look if you take away the run game? Well, they were able to score 28 points. How would the offense look if Russell Wilson was knocked off his spot? Russell Wilson went out there. He threw for 3 passing touchdowns. He was 14-28, 195 passing yards. How would this offense look if you take away George Pickens? You bring in Mike Williams late in the game. He gets behind the cornerback. He goes for a receiving touchdown. And Calvin Austin III had a lot of good moments as well. Najee Harris was knocked out of the game. He was able to come back into the game. He got rolled up on. When I look at a guy like Alex Highsmith, it seems like he suffered a serious injury. Hopefully that's not the case. Be on lookout for that. But the Steelers made a trade to bring in Preston Smith. And you also have Herbig as well, just in case TJ Watt or a guy in Alex Highsmith were to go down. In the secondary, they were getting toasted at times by Terry McLaurin. This was legit the game to watch if you are a Steelers fan, to see if they can answer all those questions, and they did. And I want to start off by the offensive play calling. In the first half, they were up and down. Russell Wilson goes out there, has a beautiful pass to George Pickens. Then he also had a good pass to Pat Freiermuth. Those are 2 plays right there that go for 2 touchdowns. The offense went stagnant. Then you had a bunch of deep shots going down the field. A bunch of deep shots to Vance Jefferson and George Pickens. I understand taking the top off the defense. Arthur Smith has to do a better job in terms of running better plays passing wise, because right now the Steelers are ranked 26th in passing, but they're a top 10 rushing team in the NFL. But we saw the offense look better when they started taking more crossing routes, and Russell Wilson was able to target the middle of the field even more. And he had a lot of sideline throws to George Pickens that worked out as well. And I want to say this about George Pickens. You're finally getting to see how good of a wide receiver he can be when you give him a chance. 5 catches, 91 receiving yards on the day, 1 receiving touchdown. Like I mentioned before, Big Mike Williams, just 1 catch on the day for 32 receiving yards, went for a receiving touchdown. And that was a touchdown that gave them the lead over the Washington Commanders. The offense was far from perfect, but they did enough to go out there and to come back from 10 points and to get things going in the right direction. I'm telling you, if this team can stay relatively healthy at the key positions, and I hope that Alex Highsmith is okay, this is a dangerous team in this division. You look at the Cincinnati Bengals right now. Their defense is not good. And I believe the defense with the Steelers will give Joe Burrow and the Bengals a lot of problems. You look at the Baltimore Ravens. That's a buzzsaw offensively. Defensively, they have one of the worst passing defenses in the NFL, but they have the top rushing defense. The Ravens will give them problems. But historically, and especially over the last few years, Mike Tomlin has had a good game plan for Lamar Jackson and that offense as well. And I look at the Cleveland Browns. No offense, Cleveland Browns fans. They're the Cleveland Browns, and you have Jameis Winston, who is a turnover machine. The Steelers should be able to go out there and win majority of the matchups in the AFC North Conference, in the AFC North Division, just like how they did last year. They went 4-1 in this division last season. I understand each year is different, but they did that with Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky. You give them Russell Wilson. He doesn't have to go out there and be a top 10 quarterback. But you put him into manageable situations on 2nd and 3rd down, he can get you to the next level. When I look at this defense, they were in for it today. They were, because their rushing defense hasn't been that good over the last few weeks because they're coming off a bye week. The last time we saw them play, Tracy Jr., the running back for the Giants, averaged 7 yards a carry on their neck. In today's game against Austin Eckler, they held him to 3.4 rushing yards a carry. He did have 2 rushing touchdowns. Jeremy McNichols came in, 1 rushing touchdown. Once again, the Steelers put themselves behind the 8 ball. You had a fumble on the 1-yard line and a fake punt that didn't work out. And you went against a top quarterback in the NFL. To a lot of people in the national media and to a lot of people on this YouTube app as well, they have Jaden Daniels as the MVP favorite, which is crazy. Jaden Daniels on the day was 17-34, 202 passing yards. Besides Terry McLaurin, they did a very good job in the secondary. And Joey Porter Jr., he was in for the fight of his life. Terry McLaurin had 5 catches for 113 receiving yards. And I'm not as high on Joey Porter Jr. as some other people. Well, I will say this about Joey Porter Jr. When he can get you into tight situations at the goal line, he's a very good cornerback. He's a very good cornerback in general. But they let up a lot of plays on the back end to true number 1 wide receivers. Be on lookout for that when they face teams like the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. But they were able to put that pressure on Jaden Daniels today with TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward. They only sacked him twice. They only sacked him 3 times, but they were in his face. They were back there. And like I said, the injury with Alex Highsmith, it does suck, but you have Preston Smith for a reason. You brought him in. You have Herbig, who got injured a couple weeks ago. Remember, this is not the first time Alex Highsmith has went down this season. He suffered a groin injury a couple of weeks ago, so he missed a good portion of the season. I really hope that he will be okay. Myself in the past, I have said a lot of critical things about Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen has started to look better. Led the team in tackles again today. That's what you like to see. Deshaun Elliott at the safety position, he came up with some huge plays. Give a lot of credit to Micah Fitzpatrick as well in that last play to Zach Ertz. They're right there at the first down marker, but he made sure that he touched Zach Ertz as soon as his knee went down. And the referees, it was a lot of questionable calls on both sides, the Washington Commanders and for the Steelers. But this was a very good win overall for the Steelers. They battled back from behind. They dealt with adversity. They took the run game away. The Washington Commanders came out to play. A well-coached team, a well-oiled machine. And Coach Tomlin went out there, last play of the game. It was 4th and 1. Russell Wilson, veteran quarterback, just like Aaron Rodgers. Silent count. He gets the rookie to bounce offside. So I don't want to hear about they're lucky this, they're lucky that. A lot of things are not going to the Steelers' favor. You had a fumble. You had an interception. You also had a fake punt that did not work out. Those are 3 turnover plays right there for the Steelers, and they battled back from that. I know a couple months ago they did that with Justin Fields. They would have not been in this situation. And that's not me trying to hate on Justin Fields, but I know that for a fact. Look at what happened in that Dallas Cowboys game. I'm not saying the Steelers are going to go out there and be Super Bowl contenders, but I'm saying this right now. In the AFC, things are different this year because they have a solid quarterback option with either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. And as soon as people in the national media realize that, and as soon as a lot of Steelers doubters realize that, the better off they will be. But this was the first week of this tough quote-unquote schedule. We'll see how they look against the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles and the rest of those teams. But as long as this defense can pin their ears back, and Russell Wilson has a relatively clean pocket and guys can get open deep down the field, they're going to always be in a fight week in and week out. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about this win for the Steelers? And does this submit them as a top threat in the AFC? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. And I will say this as well. I'm sticking to my point like I said 2 weeks ago. This is the most complete team in the AFC North in terms of offense and defense and special teams. They are good on every single level. Like I mentioned, the Browns, that offense with Jameis Winston is not legit. And the run game has not been the same since Nick Chubb got injured. The Bengals, one of the best offenses in the NFL, one of the best quarterbacks. Their defense can't stop a nosebleed. They have one true pass rusher and Trey Hendrickson. The Baltimore Ravens, amazing front seven. Their secondary. When I look at the Steelers, every single level, front seven, linebackers, then you look at the secondary as well. All 3 levels, they're very good defensively. Offensively, the offensive line has a lot of issues because they're young. Broderick Jones is in his 2nd year. Mason McCormick is a rookie. Zach Frazier is a rookie. These guys are not even supposed to be in this situation. You look at what happened many months ago. James Daniels, he tears his Achilles against the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm sticking to that point. The Steelers are the most complete team in this division. But most importantly, I want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.